Have good credit. Go to work. Pay your taxes. Eat healthy. Food is bad. Food is evil. Food is filled with poisons. Keep your head up. Traffic. Check engine light. Phone call. Text. Phone call. Text. Are we gonna see you at the family reunion? You never come. Work. What are we eating? I don't know. What are we eating? I don't know. Password can't be the same as the old. Pay a bill. Can't sleep. Drink your tea. Take a nap. Wake up. Can you come pick me up? Hello? Are you coming? How's your 401k? You want to diversify? Government, politics, president. Drink plenty of water. Water got microplastics. What? Take out the trash. 10,000 steps. Car breakdown. Tires. 2 tires with the wire showing. Swipe. Decline. Sick of this.
Shalom. First and foremost, as always, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors and salutations to apostles and elders, great millstone. Much respect to you, brothers, out on the highways and byways, pushing this truth with fear and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Khalakar coming back at you with another video. And as you saw in the beginning, this Jake saying a lot of things that's happening to a lot of people. A lot of people are going through these things. Even men of the Lord, believers. Catching hell is part of this walk, suffering, right? And suffering for the right reasons, right? As that Jake was going on and on about how you got to be an adult and got to take care of all of these things, and even to the smallest things of taking out the trash can rub you the wrong way. But we know these things are they're temporary. What we see right now is temporary, and what we're going into, right, the kingdom of heaven, is forever. It's all eternity, right? But we know on this side we got to suffer all of these things. So it's better that you suffer for the Lord, right, for the Lord's sake, rather than you just suffering just to be suffering and don't know anything that's going on, right? Not having an eyesight to see what's going on, and knowing that, to us that's in this truth, that's in this walk, we're going to have to go through these fiery trials. We're going to have to go through this suffering. We're going to have to go through this affliction to get to the kingdom of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, which is the kingdom of heaven, Yahweh Shah's kingdom. This is Acts 14:22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that in much tribulation, that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Heavenly Father. Right, so through much tribulation. All right, let's look at that word tribulation real quick. You got to go through the fire, whatever it might be, for you. Thelesis.
Strong's G 2347. Thalepsis.
Tribulation, pressing together, pressure, oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits, right? And we know going through that straight gate, right? Where the kingdom of heaven is wide, but the way there is broad. It's a difficult way of passage. I think it's Matthew 16, or Matthew 7, Salakia. Matthew 7:13, it says, enter ye at the straight gate, area of difficulty, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that lead unto destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Right? So in the NLT, let me read it. It says, you can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate, the highway to hell. I was just listening to that in the car, actually. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. Right, I'm going to read that again. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few find it. It's just like in Second Edges. It tells you that. Well, let me get it. It tells you that there's going to be fire on one side and deep water on the next. I think it's 7, right? Yeah. Second Edges 7. I'm going to start at 3. It says, and I said, speak on, my power. Then he said unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case of the entrance were narrow, like a river, who then could go into the sea to look upon it, and to rule it. If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing, a city is builded and set upon a broad field, and full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So getting to the kingdom is going to be a narrow, difficult, agonizing, painful, suffering rite of passage to get to the kingdom, right? And we know that. But we also know that the Lord is going to look out for us, right? He's going to look out for his hopeful elect, in these trials, in these tribulations, in these troubling times. This is a book of 2 Timothy 2, and I'm going to go to 12. It says, if we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. Right? Bishop Nate, 2 Edges 2 and 46 is not talking about the name, it's talking about commandments. Right? You're going to be denied, man. Calling Yahushua is no more Yahushua, it's Jesus and Yeshua. Right? You're going to suffer greatly. Right? It says, if we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself. Of these things putting them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord, that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers. Right? So, you calling on Yeshua and all of this stuff, and you saying that breaking out the scriptures wrong, there's no profit for you, man. There's no profit for that. It's all in vain. All in vain. Verse 15 says, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And, if you're rightly dividing the word of truth, people are going to hate. You're going to have haters, right? You're not going to have a special audience. You're going to have the believers that believe that and understand, but majority are going to be haters. Straight haters. Romans 8 and 18 says, for I reckon that the sufferings of the present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of the Heavenly Father. And let me get that in the NLT, because I know it hit hard. Hit hard. Romans 8 and 17. 8 and 18 in NLT, it says, yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will reveal to us later. It says, for all creation is waiting eagerly for the future day when God will reveal who his children really are. Against its will, all creation was subjected to God's curse, but will eager hope. With eager hope. The creation looks forward to the day when it will join God's children in glorious freedom from death and decay, right? And so even the nations are waiting for us to come, right? Because, people are suffering, man. People are suffering. You just saw a little clip of somebody suffering, and but they're suffering for their own reasons, right? They're suffering because they're wicked, right? They're not suffering for the righteous sake, right? If we going through that same thing, we put on our socks, we put on our shirts, we take showers, we eat just like you, and we're embracing the suffering, right? We're embracing the hardship. We're embracing the tough trials and tribulations that we're going to have to endure. We're not upset about it because we know that's the will of the Heavenly Father. We just got to take it and hope and pray that the Heavenly Father is dealing with us so we can, be glorious in the end, and we're not just catching hell for no reason, right? Hebrews 5:6, it says, as he saith also in another place, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. It says, right, Malakia Tazadok. It says, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard, and that he feared. Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. Right? You obey Yahushua, you obey that calling, you obey, that voice. You're going to have eternal salvation, right? But through that suffering, Yahushua had to suffer. What do you think we're going to have to do, man? Verse 10 says, called of the Heavenly Father and High Priest after the order of Melchizedek, of whom we have many things to say and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing, right? Again, this thing of ours is about suffering. Yahushua suffered on that cross. He suffered, right? He had to suffer to be righteous, And pretty much to let you know, like, these other Israelite groups, these other Israelite speakers, teachers and whatnot, they want to be above Yahushua. But reading this is saying basically you are below, right? Yahushua gets the victory. He's the master. The servants is not greater than the master, right? The servants is not greater than the master. John 15. John 15 and 18. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me, right? They don't know the Heavenly Father. They don't know that this understanding is about catching, going through hell. Yeah, we get pockets here and there, but shit. It lasts just for a snap of a finger, right? We know the world hated Yahushua, right? So our belief in Yahweh Shah, we be, we get mocked, we get rejected, persecuted for, standing on the actual word of Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Yahweh Shah, right? And it's going to continue to ramp up. It's going to continue to get a little gray out here. But we got to know that we're safe through the loins of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, because the Lord suffered, man. The Lord suffered for us to have this understanding on this side, man. Isaiah 53:1, it says, "Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant," talking about Yahweh Shah, "and as a root out of a dry ground. He have no form or comeliness." He didn't, you're not going to look upon him and be like, "Oh, yeah. It's a handsome fellow right there." And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow and acquainted with grief. And he hid as it were our faces from him. We hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he have bore our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him strictly smitten of the Heavenly Father and afflicted. Right? But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we were healed. Right? We were healed because of Yahweh Shah. We got to take on the humiliation and suffering, right? Just like Yahweh Shah did, until that's purged, we purged out of it, right? Sirach 2, if you 144 up there, call Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua. If you come to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptation. Be patient when you turn into a weak, right? Be patient. Let me get this. Psalms 116 and 3. The sorrows of death compasses me, and the pains of hell hold upon me. I found trouble and sorrow. Then called I upon the name of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Lord, O Lord, I beseech thee, deliver my soul. Gracious is the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and righteous, our power is merciful. The Lord preserveth the simple. I was brought low, and he helped me, right? Look, we're going to be brought low in this thing. Return unto thy rest, O Lord, O my soul. For the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, have dwelt bountiful with thee. Right? So again, the Lord is here to save us, man. The Lord is here to make sure we get it. Right? You can't receive good and not evil from the Lord, right? A bad time. It's only to purify you. It's only to make you better. Purify the elect, of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So, I hope you was edified. I hope you was exhorted. I hope you got something out of this. Hope to see you on the next video. Lord willing, shalom.